We're going to be going over my 2025 summer forecast in today's video, and as we look forward into the future from now, it's really looking like a very interesting summer, as not only will much of the United States experience warmer than normal temperatures, but we will also likely be talking about a pretty wet summer across the east, along with a very dry summer across the west. That will also bring the potential for severe thunderstorms across the east, along with an elevated fire risk out there in the west. So it is going to be a very interesting summer overall, as this summer is going to set up a little bit differently than what we've been dealing with during the past few summers. So make sure to stay tuned till the end so that you guys get a good idea on what to expect this summer. And we'll first start off by going over the forecasts with our temperatures. This is your guys' temperature forecast for the summer, and you guys can see that areas in this orange color, which includes much of the United States, will likely be seeing those warmer than normal temperatures at some point during the summer. We're not expecting the highest temperatures, but we will still likely be seeing those above normal temperatures at some point during the summer if you guys live in this orange color, which includes areas of the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Northeast, even parts there of the Mid-Atlantic, and as well as the Midwest. So make sure you guys are getting prepared for that. Areas in this red color, however, you guys will likely be seeing much warmer than normal temperatures, and I even anticipate you guys to be seeing the highest temperatures this summer, as you guys will really be looking at those chances for well above normal temperatures throughout the summer. This includes areas of the Northwest, back down there into areas of the Four Corners region, down there into Texas, even over there towards the southeast. You guys will likely be seeing the hottest temperatures this summer, and this is mainly given the fact that we're going to have a lot of warm air coming in from that jet, just continuously warming up areas of the northern United States. So you guys really need to make sure you guys are getting prepared from the summer, as a lot of heat down here across the desert southwest will even try to work its way up here into the northern United States as well, bringing chances for very hot and dry conditions throughout this summer. Let's also look at your precipitation as well. You guys can see that with precipitation, we will likely be seeing a pretty big difference between the eastern and as well as the western United States. Starting off with the western United States, you guys can see that areas shaded in this yellow color and as well as this darker yellow color, which is kind of like a golden color. You guys can see that a lot of those areas will likely be seeing below normal precipitation this summer, indicating a much drier summer this year. You guys a little farther down to the south, however, across Arizona and New Mexico, I think you guys will be dry early, but once we get into the later part of the summer where monsoon season is, this is when we could be talking about chances for showers and thunderstorms down there towards areas of Arizona and New Mexico, since we will be seeing that ramp up in monsoon season this year. So hopefully we can get a pretty good one out there. And then those areas farther to the east, this is when we're expecting the highest chances for rainfall. Look at this, guys. We're talking much of the eastern United States likely to see above normal precipitation at some point during the summer, with the best chances of above normal precipitation being across areas of the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, and as well as the Midwest. You guys farther down to the south will have a little bit of a different story, because like I said, you guys will also be seeing that chance for above normal precipitation, but you guys will likely be starting pretty dry early. I expect you guys, especially down there towards the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida, to stay dry early, but then once we get into the later part of the summer, that's when we'll really start to see that ramp up in precipitation, especially since we'll start entering the more active part of hurricane season. So now's your guys' time to be keeping an eye on the weather, especially once we get into the later part of summer, where I am expecting a pretty good chance for hurricanes. But once again, the early part of the summer will likely be pretty dry overall, especially if you live down here in Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and as well as Alabama, where you guys will be dry early. And then once we get into the later part of the summer, that's when you guys will start seeing that chance for above normal precipitation due to tropical storms and as well as hurricanes. If we also look at what we can expect for severe weather, this is probably the part that most people are wondering about. We got two corridors we're watching for. The first one is down here towards the southwest, which includes Arizona and New Mexico. Once again, this is when we're expecting a pretty good monsoon season. You guys will be dry to start, but then once we get into the later part of the season, that's when you guys will likely be seeing that chance for some severe weather as well. So that will be something to watch for, especially once we start getting into that monsoon season, like I said. So make sure you guys down there across Arizona in New Mexico are watching for severe weather, as that red color indicates severe thunderstorms are certainly possible. And then up here towards areas of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Midwest, and as well as the Mid-Atlantic, this is when we have a much higher chance for severe weather. I think as we head throughout the summer, we will really be seeing chances for thunderstorms and also severe thunderstorms across Iowa, down there into Illinois, much of Indiana, pretty good portion there of Kentucky, much of Ohio, into much of West Virginia, and as well as Pennsylvania. You guys will really need to be keeping an eye out for severe thunderstorms, as I'm even anticipating the potential for even a derecho to occur this summer. This doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the worst, but once again, we're still going to be keeping an eye out for severe thunderstorms, as this area is shaded in that red and as well as that maroon color certainly has the highest chance of seeing thunderstorms and severe thunderstorms. So make sure you guys are all paying attention out there, as I am expecting this summer to be pretty active overall. If we also look at the wildfire risk, you guys probably already know about that after looking at which areas will be dry, because once again, areas out here in the west obviously are going to see that highest chance for wildfires this season, especially across the northern part of the western United States, which includes the northern Rockies, Pacific Northwest, and as well as the northern plains. This is when I am anticipating the potential for critical fire weather conditions throughout the summer. Now, I know I did shade you guys down here across parts there of the southeast, and as well as those areas over here towards Arizona and New Mexico in that elevated fire risk category, which is pretty much this orange color. All that means is that we could be talking about a few wildfires early, since you guys will be staying dry during the early part of the season. But once we get into the later part of the season, though, like I said, that's really when we'll start to see that chance for above normal precipitation. So keep in mind that fire weather risk or two is possible, especially early if you live down here across the southeast. And then once again, we'll be seeing that chance for tropical storms and hurricanes late, while areas over here towards the southwest United States, including Arizona and New Mexico, pretty much the same thing, dry early, and then we'll be seeing that chance for rain and thunderstorms late. So you guys also got a chance to see an elevated wildfire or two early, so make sure to keep that in mind if you guys live down there in the southwest. And then once again, we got that highest chance for wildfires, especially across areas up there across the northern United States, where we are expecting well below normal precipitation along with some pretty warm temperatures. Now let's talk about this overall summer forecast, which probably looks very, very interesting from what I'm showing you guys right now. You guys can see that areas over here in the western United States, once again, a lot of you guys will be seeing that chance for drier than normal conditions, along with a high elevated wildfire risk, especially across areas of the Rocky Mountains and as well as the Pacific Northwest. That's where you guys will have that highest chance of seeing that chance for some wildfires. Now, it's obviously not a guarantee, but you guys will have the best chance for that, since you guys are looking at not only hot temperatures, but also below normal precipitation. Same with you guys down here in areas like Arizona and New Mexico. Once again, you guys will also have that chance for some elevated wildfires, especially early. But then once we get into the later part of the season, this is when we could be talking about a monsoon season late, indicating chances for not only thunderstorms, but maybe even a few severe thunderstorms, depending on how that looks like once we get a little closer. Areas shaded in this purple color will likely be seeing drier than normal conditions early, and once again, that's why we got that elevated wildfire risk across the Carolinas into Florida and Georgia. But then we'll be seeing that chance for some hurricanes late, so make sure to keep that in mind if you guys live down there in the deep south, and as well as over there towards areas of the Southern Plains. Areas shaded in this green color will be a pretty interesting area as well. These areas are right around that area where we're expecting severe thunderstorms, which all that really means is that we could be talking about some thunder showers here and there, especially across the areas around that red color. Like I said, I'm not really looking at anything nearly as intense though in that area shaded in green, especially since we're looking at a less active area, I would say. You guys in this green color aren't really going to be exactly lined up with where we're expecting the severe weather ingredients, but you guys will still once again be talking about chances for rain and thunderstorms, since we still could be talking about some moisture, energy, and maybe even a little bit of wind shear at times getting up here into this area. But I think those areas over here in the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and as well as areas down here towards the Ohio Valley kind of lined up a little bit better with where we're expecting severe thunderstorms, so make sure to keep that in mind if you live in that green color. And then like I was just talking about a little bit, severe thunderstorms looks to be across areas of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and as well as those areas up there towards areas of the upper Midwest. Once again, I'm not really looking at, anything super crazy, but I did still outline this color because I think we could be talking about some pretty big chances for severe weather as we head throughout the summer. I even expect one of those to even be a derecho event potentially, so make sure to keep that in mind if you do live in this red color, as I do think this red color will even have the most active weather throughout the summer. So that is something to keep in mind if you guys do live across those areas. And then once again, for you guys shaded in that green color, we're not really looking at anything nearly as intense, but still rain and thunderstorms will be possible, so make sure to keep that in mind if you guys live in that green color. And then once again, you guys in that red color look to have that highest chance for severe thunderstorms. But thank you all so much for watching my summer forecast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are interested in the summer, consider leaving a thumbs up, as this did take a lot of time and work to make this happen. We also hope you guys continue to follow us on this channel, as we are going to continue to keep you guys up to date with the latest about what's going to be going on as we get into the summer. And also make sure to consider subscribing to the channel as well, as we really do appreciate your guys' support, and we hope that you guys can make more things like this happen. So consider doing that, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your summer out there once it starts, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.